Imagine losing everything you love and still keeping your faith. This isn't just ancient history. It is a journey that spans generations and continues to resonate in our lives. Job's story is a profound testimony about suffering, faith, and redemption, challenging us to understand the mysteries of God and the purposes of life. Job, a righteous and blameless man, lived in the land of Uz. He feared God and avoided evil, dedicating his life to righteousness. Job was a prosperous man, father of 7 sons and 3 daughters, and possessor of immense riches, 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 donkeys, and a large number of servants. He was considered the greatest among all the peoples of the East. Despite his prosperity, Job did not place his trust in possessions. His children used to hold parties on their birthdays and invited their sisters to celebrate together. After each festival cycle, Job offered sacrifices to the Lord, thinking, "Perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." This was a constant practice of Job, who sought to ensure the spiritual purification of his family. One day a heavenly meeting took place, at which Satan appeared before God. The Lord highlighted Job's faithfulness, but Satan contested, claiming that Job was faithful only because of the blessings he received. "Stretch out your hand and attack everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face," challenged Satan. God allowed Satan to tempt Job, but on one condition: his life must be preserved. This is how tragedy struck Job. In a single day, he received 4 devastating news. His oxen and donkeys were stolen by invaders, fire from heaven consumed his sheep and servants, the Chaldeans plundered his camels, and worst of all, everything, his sons and daughters, died when a strong wind blew down the house where they were celebrating. Devastated, Job tore his clothes, shaved his head, and, prostrate on the ground, worshipped God, saying, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will return. The Lord gave, the Lord took away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Even in such pain, Job did not sin or blame God. But Job's trials were far from over. At a new heavenly meeting, Satan insisted that if Job's own body were struck, he would certainly curse God. God allowed Satan to inflict painful wounds on Job without taking his life. Covered from head to toe in sores, Job sat in ashes, using shards of pottery to scratch himself. His wife, in despair, urged him, "Do you still maintain your integrity? Curse God and die." Job replied, "You speak like a foolish woman. Will we accept the good given by God and not the evil?" 3 of Job's friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, came to comfort him. They sat with him for 7 days and nights, in silence, acknowledging the magnitude of his suffering. When Job finally broke the silence, he cursed the day of his birth, wishing he had never come into the world. His friends, however, believed that Job's suffering was the result of some hidden sin and urged him to confess. Job rejected these accusations, defending his integrity and calling for an audience with God. Throughout extensive dialogues, Job expressed his pain and questioned divine justice. He did not understand why the wicked prospered while the righteous suffered. In the midst of his anguish, he stated, "I know that my Redeemer lives and that in the end he will rise on the earth." Job longed for a mediator who could intercede between him and God, as he felt distant from the Creator. Then God answered Job from the middle of a storm. With questions that highlighted his sovereignty and wisdom, God showed Job the vastness of his creation and the mystery of his plans. "Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Who marked the limits of its dimensions? Who dammed the sea with gates?" asked God, challenging Job to recognize his human limitation. To this Job humbly replied, "My ears have heard of you, but now my eyes see you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes." God rebuked Job's friends for not telling the truth about him and instructed them to offer sacrifices so that Job would pray for them. After Job interceded, the Lord restored his fortunes, giving him twice as much as he had before. He had 7 more sons and 3 daughters, and lived for another 140 years, seeing his descendants down to the 4th generation. Job's story is a powerful reminder that even in the face of inexplicable suffering, faith in God can sustain us. Although we do not fully understand divine plans, we are called to trust in his wisdom and goodness. Job teaches us that true fidelity does not depend on circumstances, but on a deep and sincere relationship with the Creator.